Today we're going to learn about compression. Compression can be one of the most challenging things to comprehend, so I'm going to try to explain it as plainly as possible, and feel free to rewatch this video as many times as necessary or reach out to other sources on the web to try to understand what's going on. So let's dig in. Let's first listen to this audio clip that I made.
Really quiet sounds, and really loud sounds, and really quiet sounds, and louder sounds.
Did you hear how the dynamic range, how loud it is, changes a lot? It's very quiet right around here, and very loud right around here. That can happen very frequently if you're using one microphone to interview a person. One person's sound is going to be a lot louder than the others. Likewise, if you move away from the microphone and gradually move closer to the microphone, it will have a similar effect. The point of compression is to reduce that dynamic range. So what compression will do is it will lower down all of your loudest volumes, and then typically it will also amplify back up everything to be at an acceptable level. So let's dig into this. For compression to work, we first have to establish a threshold that we consider to be too loud. And we have to do this by determining what decibel level is going to be too much. Now, it would be really nice if over here on the left-hand side, Audacity would tell us the decibel level, but unfortunately it doesn't do that. It does it from going from 0, from nothing, up to 1 or 100%, so total maximum volume. So the easiest way to find out how loud these peaks are is to go up to Analyze and go down to Plot Spectrum. Now, this doesn't tell us how loud the peaks are exactly. What this is telling us is the frequency range and how loud things are at that frequency range. But this does give us a nice quick shorthand to seeing how loud the loudest parts actually are. So I can see here that maybe a good threshold might be at 36 decibels, maybe 42. It's hard to say. Let's do 42. So I'm going to close this analysis out, and I'm going to go up to Effect, and go down to Compressor. So what the first thing we need to do is we need to set that threshold at the decibel level that we determined. Every audio recording is going to use a different threshold level, and you really need to use a certain amount of artistic discretion to figure out what that decibel level should be. We're going to ignore the noise floor for right now, so I'm going to bring that all the way down. Next, the ratio. So the ratio is how much your audio is going to be compressed. So if we have the ratio set at a 2-to-1 ratio, right over here, what this does is for every decibel over the threshold that we determine, it's going to reduce it by that amount. So let's say one of those peaks is 12 decibels louder than the threshold. Well, this is going to reduce it at a 2-to-1 ratio, which would be 6 decibels. So the resulting peak would only be 6 decibels louder. If we had a 3-to-1 ratio, right there, that would result in 4 decibels louder, because it's reducing it down 12 decibels down by a factor of 3. Likewise, if it were at a 4-to-1 ratio, that would bring it down to just 3 decibels louder. So it's all about the ratios. I know for this one, I'm going to have to use some extreme compression. I'm going to do this at a 10-to-1 ratio. This is typically way too much compression for dialogue. You would want a very gentle amount of compression, right around 3-to-1, maybe a little less than that, maybe just a little bit more to that. But this is an extreme example, so we're going to have to make some pretty extreme measures. Now, one feature that many compressors have is that after it reduces down the loudest volumes, it will then amplify everything to come right back up to where it should be. That's called makeup gain. We can choose to have that on or off in this compressor. In this case, we're going to leave it on. So after it reduces down all of the peaks here, it will then amplify everything back up. Let's click OK. And now, everything is compressed into a smaller dynamic range. Let's listen.
Really quiet sounds, and really loud sounds, and really quiet sounds, and louder sounds.
Did you hear how my really quiet sounds were much easier to hear at that point? It's because we use such an extreme compression. So remember, if you need to bring things that are quieter up to a volume that they can be heard, you need to use compression, and for dialogue, typically only use a compression ratio of about 3 to 1.